Hey everybody, Average Picker here. So we're revisiting Georgia Jim's Bruised Ego Sargent-based 7-pin challenge lock that he sent me yesterday. I meant to film, or sent me a couple days ago. I meant to film another attempt on this yesterday, but I got home from work and I was just too tired, to do any picking. So I did go and retrieve some picks. We're going to be using this one. This is a homebrew. I realized I need something with, the other day when I was picking it, something with a high reach and then 20 thousandths because of the narrowing keyway. I think it'll work pretty well. So we shall see what we can get here. I also, if you notice, I turned the lock around. I've got it mounted a little differently. I have this weird suspicion that I actually got it picked the other day and my tailpiece was just banging into that screw and was not letting it fully turn. Of course, you know, that's thinking I might have had it picked and getting it open are two different things. So we'll see what we can get here. Pronounced counter rotation up front. No, overset something there. I may have overset pin 2. I'm going to try just to pick our way through it and see if we get anything. Nope. Let's do a reset. It's interesting, the pins in the front half of the lock are very responsive. The pins in the back half, though, not so much. Now I know from doing that out of box video, we're looking for kind of a deep false. And it sort of feels like it's there. I'm going to manually counter rotate. Nope. If nothing else, I feel like I've got about half the lock figured out. Is that? Okay, that I believe is that deep false we were looking for. I'm going to go all the way to the back of the lock. I'm going to bring the pick forward from the back and find that last pin. And we're going to manually rotate on it. Oh, I don't like that. That wasn't doing. Heard something drop. It probably dropped from the front. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it feels like it's just hanging on by one pin. I can't tell which one. Ugh. Stay on that one. Let's see if that 2 has anything else to give in it. No, it doesn't seem to. Two is quite bound up now. One doesn't. Well, wait, what's. Does one have a little bit more left in it? Something happened there. Oh, okay, that's it. So this is a really false. Oh, there we go, there we go, there we go. Squarely in. Man, I think that's got a rough finish at the end. Not rough, like, it's got a hard to find finish. We do have a key. Lock it up. And he may have manipulated something in there because those screws are grubbed. It's a nice little challenge lock. It's been fun. We've communicated back and forth a little bit. It's fun. I love finding other pickers in the Georgia area. It just doesn't seem like, at least visibly, there's enough of us. I know there's got to be a ton, and I know Augusta has a tool group. Where are we? Oh, there's got to be more. There's got to be more in Atlanta. That's what keeps killing me too. Oh, look at that. Oh, interesting. Oh, wow. Okay. I'm going to gut this real quick and we'll flip the camera around to have to show you what's going on with some of these. Holy cow, those are big. A lot of these are sitting very close to the top. I don't know. I've got to go through all my, oh, I'm pretty sure that's you. I've got to go through all my sargents. I don't think I've got a 7-pin sargent, which makes me feel like I need to find one. We'll look at the core. Nice. Oh, a little bit of a spiky. Do like those spiky pins. What are you? You are the tiniest driver I think I've run across, at least in a full-size lock. No real surprises so far. It's very interesting though that how, like I said earlier, the front of the lock very responsive. Lots of counter rotations. The springs came out. I'll just go ahead and pull those. I mean, you can definitely feel everything in the front half of the lock, and the back half of the lock just always felt kind of jammed up. What in the hell is that? Something more has to come out of there. Okay. What? Okay, I do not understand what's going on with pin 7. And it looks like I'm seeing another spring in there. Oh God, that spring is completely snagged on the grub screw. So we're gonna leave it in, but that, yeah, so we're gonna leave the spring for 6 in because it seems like it's caught up on the grub screw. But definitely, let's flip the camera around and take a look at this. Okay, let me see if I can stake my hand up under the camera here. So you can still you can see we've got standards all pretty much across the bottom. Nothing crazy going on there. Let's start up here on 1. Look at that guy. It's interesting too, if we look at the key. That is a bigger lift than what the key almost seems to suggest. A neat little double cone spike on 2. That's really cool. That is probably our last little bit of hang up right there. Oh, was it slightly off-centered too? I don't know if that'd be intentional or not. Yeah, it's slightly off-centered. So depending on how that rotates, I imagine that could make it a little bit harder. And look at 3. Oh my goodness, 3 is, if this is not the tiniest driver in the world. Little tiny spool. Oh, that's neat. I like, oh, my tweezers are looking a little rough. I like how you tipped that off though. That's very cool. Little spool element, but we have a little bit of that diameter reduction there on the tip of it. We are, this video is going to probably run a little bit long. We are going to look at how these sit. 6, just a standard. But now look at 7. What is going on here? I don't know how I'm going to put this back together either. Is that hollow? I can't really, I mean, I know it's probably looking hollow. I don't seem to be able to get the tip. So that came out first, and then that came out. I wonder if that was just ground. Down so much that it snapped. I mean, when I pulled it out, it was floating loose. I'm really not sure the orientation on this pin. I thought I had it right in the, as you saw it in the tray. But looking at it up close, I feel like it might have tipped off of there. I mean, it was just floating free when it came out. So I feel like it might have looked like that at one point. If that makes sense. And then maybe snapped. I just don't see how I'm going to be able to put that back together. Gosh, that's going to be so hard to put back in there. I feel like that might be what it originally may have looked like, and it may have just broken in the lock. Let's see if we've got anything done to the core. Does not appear to be. And we'll take a look down here. So yeah, you can see our spring there and how it's stretching out. It's because it's probably caught on that screw. But nothing seems to be done inside the core, or the Bible. So I'm going to load these up into the chamber so we can see how they sit, and we'll come back. So here we just have the key pins loaded, just to give you an idea of the depths. So barely any on 6. But the other thing is there's barely any on 1. And that's what's odd, because very distinctive counter rotation on 1. And like I said, it felt larger than the key, or even that key pin would suggest. Sit right down there in the wobble. See, 3 is going to sit very, very, very low. That is craziness. That's a very well set pin right there. See, it's using every bit of it. I missed that little tiny serration there. But yeah, using every little bit of it. It's sat down snugly. Don't have any cuts that are extraneous and just sticking out and not really serving a whole lot of purpose. So yeah, there we go. Oh, we got it, yeah. So that one has a little bit of trouble seating. It feels like it's a little off center. You can see these were probably cut from stock, from like a stock rod or something. But yeah, that one, when it fully seats, it seems a little more like it wants to sit up a little higher, but I'm sure with some spring pressure, it probably snaps down in place. That is sitting very deep though, again, and again, sitting in a way that it's utilizing the entire pin, which is what we like to see. That's a standard, we won't do it. And like, yeah, let's see what happens if I leave that tip off of. So if I leave the tip off, I mean, that would just be enough to probably lock it, barely. I'm really not sure what's going to happen about putting that one back together. The other interesting bit is the key pin there. It is more of a driver style. Of course, it's not a big deal because it's the last pin, so all it's got to be able to do is, you know, kind of crank over that one bit. That's all good, and it does do that. Obviously, we know the key works. Yeah, so that little part in there, maybe that's the way to load it, right? We put that broken tip in, and then just load everything else through our Bible chambers. But see, that's the problem. That little tip is just going to float around in there and not really sit up the way it was intended to do. So yeah, we'll have to come up with something for that. So yeah, there we go. Bruised Ego by Georgia Jim. Georgia Jim, I'm glad to see someone else in Georgia. That's awesome. Yeah, great little challenge lock. You know, didn't get it picked the first night, got it picked tonight. And overall, yeah, I think it's pretty good. You know, I know you said, oh, you know, if you had any suggestions or whatever. I mean, I love your first pin. And not all of it is utilized. It's kind of the same with the second one as well. And I'm really assuming that seventh pin broke, so I would, you know, just, I guess, be a little careful in just how thin and tiny you are cutting it. So, you know, because it may, I don't know if it broke tonight or, you know, previously. I don't know if you test pick the locks at all that you make. But, you know, figure if it's going to get passed around for about a year, you know, why did it get so dark in here? But yeah, if it's going to get passed around for about a year or so, you know, you got to figure it's got to be able to hold up somewhat. That's the thing with challenge locks, right? I've said before in earlier videos, I mean, they're kind of more prototypes than anything else. And you do often see pins just cut to within, you know, millimeters of their life, and a lot of them. And so it just, from a point of view of like, should these concepts be put into manufacturing, it's not going to, durability wise, it just wouldn't, you know, things wouldn't hold up. These are much more, as I see them, prototypes to kind of just entertain us. But yeah, great little lock, very cool. Not to, I would have a hard time believing that you got it intentionally to have all that feedback up front and have it feel deader in the back. If you did, man, super kudos to you. That's really hard to pull off, and it may just be a coincidence or happenstance. But it's neat because it definitely has this feel of almost two different locks from about the middle onward. So that's very cool. Yeah, I'm still surprised by the lift on pin 1. It is, looking at it, I'm like, and that's, I had seen the key and I just thought that's not much of a lift. Yeah, so 7-pin Sergeant, don't see that very much. So it's an interesting one to have built a challenge lock out of as well. I don't know what is going on. I feel like the lighting is flickering like crazy. This video has run long. Thanks for watching, and yeah, we'll get this reassembled. Maybe I'll just drop that broken bit in there. See, you know, just let it go as it is. All right, everybody, have a good one.